Sean Levine will step into the cage with Brendan Tobin in Are You Gonna Fight Me?
I'm gonna fight your ass.
Here on Tapped Out.
That's right, fight me like a man.
Only on the BetQL network.
You know, when I tell you to break, I want you to step back up my command and break. Now go back to the corner and come out fighting at the bell.
Welcome back into the show. We'll get into this segment here in just a second, but either Brendan Tobin just had a seizure or something just happened in the heavyweight championship of the world, Usyk versus Fury. What's going on, dude?
Oh, man, this fight has just completely flipped on its head, and the questions of Tyson Fury's chin once again become an issue as Usyk has been just attacking him up against the ropes. Monster left hand cracks Tyson Fury, completely stumbles and wobbles. The big Gypsy King giant leaning to keep himself up all over the ring, eventually falls into the blue corner ring post, and the ref, he starts going for the count. So never officially touched knee to canvas, Sean, but that was a 10-8 round for Alexander Usyk, and it really looks right now like we have an even fight on the scorecards, and Usyk, all momentum has swung back to the Ukrainian. He is absolutely pummeling Fury, who has to, survive after he had momentum. He looked like in the middle of this fight, it was all in his control. Usyk had a fantastic 8th round to put himself back into the fight, and then the 9th round swung all momentum back to him in this matchup. So Alexander Usyk right now sitting pretty as we are in round 10 of this undisputed heavyweight championship fight, and it seems right now we are even because of the 10-8 round.
Damn, with an update like that, I'd feel bad if I paid the $70 for the fight. How about that from Brendan Tobin? Yeah, dude, so it looked like it was for all the world Fury at the beginning of the fight. He was looking like he was the bigger guy with the reach. He looked like he was putting the Ngannou fight behind him. Usyk looked too small. He couldn't get inside. What changed here? Because, as you said, we've seen Tyson Fury, even in fights that he's won. I'm thinking back to the Wilder fights. He has hit the canvas. You mentioned that he got rattled just now. What do you think happened, and where would you put your live money on right now if you're a bettor?
I mean, it's hard not to feel like Alexander Usyk has this thing in control right now, because I feel like he has perfectly found the range, especially up against the ropes. We had some conditioning questions, obviously, with Fury. He looks in better shape, but now you're starting to see him look for those ropes to kind of keep him up. It's a big body, Sean, and you're wondering right now, Alexander Usyk is now the one showboating, putting the hands down, sticking the chin out, daring Tyson Fury to throw at him, and instead he is just nailing him. He has found the absolute distance and timing of that left hand, and now he knows he could bother Tyson Fury. And this is exactly what happened in the Ngannou fight the last time around, is Fury got a little bit gun shy. Unlike the Deontay Wilder fights where he would go out on his shield, you wonder, hey, this has been a lot of fights for him. Is he tired of putting himself in harm's way? So if Tyson Fury is going to win this fight, he's got to get back to hitting the jab and hitting that uppercut up the middle. That's where he was having most of his success, and it looks like he's starting to get his wits about him as this 10th round comes to a close. But I would still say this is a 10th round leaning toward Alexander Usyk, especially for ring control and a couple of big left hands up against the ropes.
So we'll see if Fury can survive. He looked great early. We'll get you the live odds as soon as they're updated at BetMGM. It kind of makes sense because if you think about it, when the fight got announced, I remember telling you Usyk should be favored to win that fight. I remember saying that Ngannou made Fury look not great. Fury right now, by the way, is the heavy underdog at BetMGM. Check this out. Plus 360 all of a sudden for Tyson Fury. Usyk right now is almost a 1-5 favorite. You got to bet 500 to win one right now. The official number on Usyk is minus 490. So at this point, it seems like maybe Fury's slowing down and his only path to victory would be to knock out Usyk. Is that fair enough to say?
I wouldn't say that. This is still a very close fight. I think right now we have Usyk probably up 1 point. Mind you, he had a 10-8 round in there, so that evens things up. The rounds up early were close. There's no telling where they went that scoring. So I still think that Tyson Fury has a chance to win a decision, but he has to win these last 2 rounds. There's no doubt about that.
Wow. So this thing has just become one heck of a fight. We'll keep you updated. We've pretty much lost Brendan Tobin for the remaining probably part of this segment. Well,
And on the
you'll hear his voice, but his focus is not really here. What's up, bud?
yeah, just for the for everybody right now on the broadcast, their unofficial scorecard has it dead even at 95 apiece. So, this is a this is an absolute great fight back and forth. They really have both had their moments, and championship rounds for the undisputed championship. Absolutely, it's Goosey's, dude. I'm all about it right now.
Hold on. Are you telling me that my draw that I bet at 30-1 at BetMGM before the fight started is in play?
Definitely.
Oh my goodness. I forgot that I even made that bet until you just mentioned it. And I was like, wait a minute. I remember I did something silly because I had a free $10. That'll pay $300. That'll make you feel good. Angela Hill, if you have money on her in the UFC, that'll make you feel good also. Wins in the third round by submission for the frequently active Angela Hill. We got fights going on all over the place, including right now on your radio. Time for you and I to go at it. Sean O'Malley is eyeing Conor McGregor, dude. You're going to fight me if I say if those guys somehow get inside the octagon, that would be the biggest UFC fight of all time.
Oh, man. Yeah, I would say probably so. Outside of maybe a Khabib rematch, that'd be a record breaker for sure. Those guys, you have almost the student versus the pupil. There's been a little bit of bad blood, it seems, with some shots at Conor McGregor that bummed out Sean O'Malley, and I definitely think that would be an absolute pay-per-view monster, dude.
There's a rumor that we're going to get Stipe and John Jones at Madison Square Garden once John is healthy. You going to fight me if I say, dude, if we don't get that fight here pretty quick, in the next calendar year, I hate to say it, I'm losing interest pretty quick.
It's not that I'm losing interest, so I'll fight you on that, but it just is, you're in an impossible situation with what you're doing to the heavyweight division. They announced this week that we have the interim belt on the line again against with Curtis Blades, Tom Aspinall, and there's a lot of quibbling about, well, they're fighting for the interim belt. Should Jones even have the belt anymore? Does this fight against Stipe even need the belt? Knowing where they're at in their careers, especially if they're both planning to walk away. I think that's the big thing, is if they're both planning away after this, then what's the point of it really being a championship fight? I don't think it's going to sell any less just because there's not a belt on the line.
When my grandfather got really old, he needed this belt that I walked around with him, and just to hold him up so he didn't fall over. It was this point in Stipe and John Jones' career, maybe that's the belt that they should be fighting for, is my grandpa's old belt, just to make sure that he doesn't fall flat on his face. Because, do they need to really fight for a championship belt if they're both going to walk off? That's just going to screw up the division even more.
Well, and also, look, we've gotten to this BMF belt type of era, and I'm not suggesting putting a BMF on the line for them, but, why not a GOAT belt? Why not, some legacy belt? If you need to find some hardware to give somebody at the end of this thing. Very, very close round, by the way. We're about to go into the final round between Fury and Usyk. That was a tough one to score. I'm going to lean Usyk, but I think that one really could have gone either way, Sean. But that's the only thing is, do they really need it? Is it necessary? But then it's also thinking to yourself, it's all right, maybe you could lure John Jones into one more fight against whoever wins versus Blades and Aspinall. So you do want that possibility as well.
Brendan Tobin, Sports Machine Sean Levine. We'll keep you updated on the heavyweight championship of the world going on as we speak. Kind of crazy how the odds have worked out because a lot of early money came in on Usyk. He was the very early favorite, and that didn't surprise me. And then Fury got a lot of public money dumped on him. By the time the fight went off, he was a minus 120. BT told us that at one point in this fight, I don't want to misquote, but Fury was, how heavy of a favorite was he at one point? Better than 10-1, right?
You could have gotten Usyk at one point at 10-1 in this fight for sure. It was way in favor, and even actually going. I gave you actually the lines have even gone more in Usyk's favor for this one. So I'm trying to send you that.
During this fight live, you would have had to pay minus 1,000 if you wanted to get on Tyson Fury. Right now, as we speak, if you want to get in on Usyk, you got to pay almost the same. Minus 900. That's how much this fight has swung. We're talking about a difference of 1,900 on the money line. That's crazy during a fight. If you still believe in Fury going in the last round, it's plus 550. You tell me, that seems like a pretty good bet if somehow Fury can just beat him up this round.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, he's still big. He's got to go for broke a little bit, and that's the one thing with him, though, is, look, Tyson Fury's never been a one-shot kill artist. You know, if he's had a guy really exhausted like a Deontay Wilder, sure, but Usyk only looked stronger than he did earlier on in the fight. I mean, Usyk looked pretty demoralized. We're talking when he hit the stool in round 5, and now he's on the front foot. He's backing Tyson Fury into the corner. He's even, you know, that tricks of Tyson Fury trying to tie up that we've seen so many, he's shrugging him off and throwing him into the corner. I mean, it's not even close to see who the fresher fighter is right now. I don't know if Tyson Fury has a Gypsy King Hail Mary in him. He's still throwing punches. He's still a live wire, but does he have anything to really hurt and affect Usyk? Because Usyk looks like he's about to finish off these last 90 seconds throwing big left-hand bombs to try and close the show. And then if you think about this, Sean, like, dude, if this guy, Alexander Usyk, is able to pull this off, to talk about, we've talked so much about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. He might have wins over both of these guys. It's an incredible legacy. We're talking about John Jones, Stipe Miocic in the UFC and their heavyweight legacy. Dude, this guy was the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. Comes up, haven't seen the likes of this since Evander Holyfield, of what Alexander Usyk has been able to do with his boxing resume. So really, really incredible stuff.
Although I'm thinking to myself, the way that you've been talking about this fight, Tyson Fury has had some interesting decisions throughout his career. The last time against Francis Ngannou, you and I both thought Ngannou won the fight by a round or two, and it ended up being Fury on 2 of the 3 cards. That was a split decision. I go back to the Fury's got a tie right now, right? Yeah, he's got the undefeated, but he's also got that 1, if you think back. So he's had some interesting decisions. What are the chances that there's a shady boxing, typical, all right, this is Tyson Fury, maybe it's best for me to get a rematch out of it right away, we need to keep the Gypsy King relevant? It sounds like I'm trying to talk myself into. I think my tie is still in play, because they always love leaning toward Fury, it feels like. I
can't rule that out, and I think that he's had a pretty decent 12th round here. Okay. You know, he's trying some showboating there at the end. Like, these were 2 pretty close final rounds. I think I lean Usyk, and I think he should get the nod, especially he had the most significant moment in this fight by far. So I can't rule it out, Sean. I mean, you're right. He has, you think about the Ngannou fight, you think about the Deontay Wilder one, I would say that was the opposite. I would say that everybody pretty much thought that he won that fight. It's just that, but you know, right now on the unofficial scorecard at the end of this on the broadcast, they got 114 apiece. So we'll see. We'll see what the judges end up coming through with. We might be getting that draw. We might have a huge payday on your hands.
My goodness. That was just, you know, every now and again you look at your BetMGM account and you're like, all right, they threw me a bone. They gave me $10, or you got $10 left, or something crazy happened. You didn't know you had the money in your account. That's literally what it was. And I looked down and I was like, what's the longest shot that I could play? And that was a draw. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe they go back and forth a little bit. Maybe Tyson Fury starts off looking strong and Usyk wins some late rounds and it's questionable at the end. And here we are. It sounds like that's pretty much exactly what happened. So you watch most of the fight. We've got like a minute and a half now before we go to break. How would you score it? Because it seemed like early on, at least especially my producer, Jake, he was in my ear going, oh, Usyk's done for. It seemed like Fury was winning a bunch of the rounds early on. What's your final card say before we go to break here?
I have it 115, 112, because I gave him a 10-8 there in the 9th round, which is a little bit of controversy because like he was held up by the ropes, but I thought like that absolutely was deserving of a knockdown with how bad that he beat him. That's on me. The judges don't necessarily have to give it, but even if that was the case, I'd still have it 115, 113 in favor of Alexander Usyk. But that's just look, we're talking, if that's the case, that's 1 round. So it could easily be swung in the draw.
I'm telling you, man, the more words that come out of your mouth, the more that I think they're about to tell us a draw, which would maybe be the best thing, not just for my pocketbook, but also because we would get the instant rematch. This is a fight that went back and forth as far as the public money went. The sharps liked Usyk at the end. And here we are. It was as close of a fight as you could possibly have. I didn't watch it as close as you did because I'm trying to host a radio show here. But it sounds like it was a very entertaining, fun, thank you, back and forth fight that is worth a rematch. The best way to get one of those is a draw. So, again, I'm trying to talk myself into it because, dude, I would get paid. That would be nice and unexpected. All right, coming up on the other side, we will get you the official scorecards. I will either be very happy or I'll be very upset, and we'll talk some UFC right here. Tapped Out on the BetQL Network.